Happy New Year, traders. It's 8:01 a.m. Chicago time on Monday, the 4th of January, 2021. Here we are. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We made it through the apocalyptic year of 2020. And here we are. This is episode number 1909, first trading day of the year. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. What do we have in front of us here today? Whoa. Looks like I lost my screen here. There we go. This is the pre-market summary sheet from Convergent Trading summarizing where we were at 7:50 Central, 8:50 Eastern. Just an overview of what the overnight session has held for us. Overall, risk on sentiment very, very clear. The market's putting in new all-time highs. Is pushed. The S&P is pushed to 3773. Remember the prior high, all-time high on the last trading day of the year was 3753. So we are definitely perking up. Tesla starts the year on new all-time highs. Allocation is to risk, although we see money moving into gold and silver big time, and copper as well, the dollar falling. The euphoria is being attributed to not that the why of this happens, because we can't trade the why, but overall, AstraZeneca has rolled out its vaccine in the UK in an attempt to get ahead of this additional surge, especially with this new strain that's out there. But overall, the market is expecting the global growth to resume somewhat with a continued mitigation of this COVID risk. So that's where we stand. There's some chatter on my news feed about OPEC, some disagreements between the Russians and Saudi Arabia in terms of supply. Crude is up 0.85% and is holding steady. Crude pushed pretty high, got almost to $50 and has fallen off. Currently trading at 48.84 in the current contract. So overall, pretty bullish on crude, breaking out of a few day consolidation. The overnight session so far is in the S&Ps has traded 194,000 contracts. The inventory is about 50% long, and we have a range of 35 points on a double distribution profile. Looking quite bullish. So it's we'll review in a minute, but overall the overnight session shows a consolidation that broke strong right at the European Open with the European markets, and then has sat sideways since then, and that's where the double distribution comes from. Today we get construction spending at 10, Feds Evans, Feds Mester again, and total vehicle sales in terms of scheduled releases. Let's take a look at what the market did on Thursday. I was not here. Market overall, the last day of the year, the 31st, held a consolidation in the morning and broke out and broke higher and above the high we already had at 37.46 and a quarter, and finished very strong. Look at this finish here. Notice that as the market rose, Delta was coming off. There's some selling aggression on the way up. We did close the year at all-time highs. We did fulfill that stat I talked about last year about the last 2 weeks being relatively bullish to an average of about 3.9% low to high on the S&P futures, and that held up pretty well. The session on last Thursday held the distribution down below. Then we started to make this multi-distribution kind of low volume node area right in here, and then held an even distribution at the top. Notice that there are a lot of bars leading up to the close. I mean, that's a lot of action here leading up to the close. Some last minute shuffling of assets. It looks like are balancing and quite a bullish close. We did close at new all-time highs with an all-time high on the session. So that's where we stand today. Is everybody ready to trade 2021? Or what's your plan this week? Are you going to ease into this week and kind of get your footing, or are you ready to go and are you trading at normal speed today? Normal aggression today, the first day of the year. Myself, I'm just going to mainly watch what's going on and see what kind of a tune it wants to play to, and just follow the same process and plan as always. So that's what we have for last Thursday. Let's take a look at what we've done in the overnight session. Here's the overnight session. Let me turn off these stock zones and master levels. Here's the overnight session. There's the close of Friday right here. And then what we did is we went sideways through the Asian session, a nice weak high throughout the beginning of the Asian session, and then as soon as 1 o'clock came around, that's the open of the European markets, we had a strong push and a continuation. So we had an impulse pullback continuation, and now we're in the corrective phase of that, bringing the point of control to the upper distribution. We have a lower and an upper distribution, double distribution profile with a low volume node in between. So as the market pulls back here, we have some confluence on the VWAP mid and the low volume node. The buyers will want to see this 58 to 53 area holding. If it does not, then it is likely to make its way to the point of control of Friday. The point of control of Friday, which is at, well, the point of control of Friday was at 24 actually. But the high volume node here, the high volume node that we had on Friday would be the next target. That will be in the 48 area, and then after that, if it breaks through that, if it doesn't hold through that, it's likely to zip right through this low volume node down into the 3720s, giving us about 50 points of range. The ideal situation, of course, for day traders is this thing sells off, giving us some volatility and some clearer trades, but you know, we trade what we see, not what we want. 196 contracts traded, 1,000 contracts traded so far. This puts it in the normal volume category, and we do have some clear indications of what the market's leaning towards. So that's where we stand on the overnight session. I want to take a moment and look at where we are in this is the RTH only, this is the day session only or pit only composite chart. This has a bar for every day, every pit session. So each one of these bars represents 1 day of trading. And like last week, we had 4 days, Monday through Thursday, with Thursday finishing strong. After what happened the week before with the break of the weekly one-time framing and then resuming, we ended up gapping up last week, holding steady, holding balance up here with a point of control at 37.30, and then finishing quite strong. And we're starting this week with quite a bullish gap here. And so what we have is the weeklies are resuming, based on last week, have resumed the one-time framing up. And it becomes really important for buyers to hold on to this 37.30, 37.24 area, and of course the weekly low. So as we trade, keep an eye on your composite chart and make sure that the big picture is in confluence with what you're working with. Notice that the year again finished at all-time highs, yet the delta has just been selling off. It's a theme that we've seen here. We saw all of last week. It seems to be the rally seems to be weakening. If you look at the last time the delta was at a peak, it was at 37.0225. 37.0225. Then we put in a higher high at 37.18 and look at the delta for that higher high. Okay, this is comparing day to day. This is not intra-session, so it has some value. And then we put in all-time highs, and it's basically at the same level as the 37.18 here. So to me, as we're pushing higher prices, it seems like some are hedging. Now, this is going into the close of the year, so that has something to do with it. This is all in December. We'll see we'll have to wait to see how this week finishes up. This is a key week for the year. It sets traditionally it has an edge in that it sets the tone for the first quarter. We'll see how it plays out, but to me, it all looks bullish. Okay, so that's where that stands. I mean, kind of the same theme as there has been for the last couple months. Let's take a look at what's expected for today. Let's turn on a master levels, stock zones, and here we are. So in looking at what's expected for today, the market is opening up against the overnight point of control. There's likely to be a point of control shift down to where it is now in the 37.62 area. I'm expecting an open auction out of range. I'm looking for a response back into this 58 to 55 area, if not the 53. I don't expect it to get the 53. I expect it to come back in line with the open and then start to push into the 37.70, which has a little bit of liquidity now. I'm looking for it to kind of be a bit of a choppy day. It is the first day of the year. We're looking for some positioning as we come into today, but following the same auction rules, looking for a pullback to the prior high, consolidation, and a push higher. The secondary scenario really is not bullish either. The second scenario is looking for a move that attempts to push higher, impulses down to the prior high, and then squeezes into the prior range, consolidates in the upper distribution, and then starts to explore lower before bouncing back up. I'm looking for it to push as far down as 35 to 30 right down here. Remember, this is the MC point of control in this area of this whole region, this 30.75 area, expecting that to provide some support for the bounce on scenario 2. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for. There is a third scenario and a fourth scenario. Since we're out of bounds, those are likely to play out, but I'll let you come up with those. I want to keep this short and sweet to start off the year. Remember that, it's a new year, new start. Hopefully you took the time to set some goals for yourself. Hopefully you wrapped up last year properly. You closed the books on last year properly. You know what your performance has been. You know what your faults have been. You know where your errors are. And you know what you need to focus on eliminating today. If you come in here today and for the rest of the year and you're just following the same pattern of just showing up and seeing what the market does and trying this, that, and the other thing, then don't be too surprised. And I'm not trying to be mean here don't be too surprised if the results are pretty much the same. You're going to have to come up, for real growth. You have to come in here with a very clear picture of where you stand, where your performance stands as of right now, and what you're shooting for this week, and what areas you need to work on, and focus on those areas. Okay, that's what we have to do as we come in to see improvement. Good luck, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.